So we just met you on the bus and we heard you talking about Tent City. How do you feel about the situation with homes down here on Hastings in East Vancouver?
The government's not paying attention or not taking responsibilities, and the government needs to take responsibilities because all the homeless people on the street, and they said that they were going to build homes and they didn't.
Right.
They're shutting down the shelter that I'm staying at the end of the month, and there's 100 people that stay there.
Oh, which shelter are you staying at?
The Aboriginal shelter.
Okay, and where's that located?
Western and Terminal.
Western and Terminal. Okay.
Or Western.
We should go there and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're closing it. We have this. We created this petition we're getting people to sign it.
Okay.
We're trying to get as many people as we can to sign it.
Now, how old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18, and how long have you been staying at that shelter?
Since last summer.
Since last summer, okay. Have they made any alternate arrangements for you to go someplace at all, or?
No, they didn't talk about anything. They just told us they're shutting it down because there's not enough fundings.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they're closing quite a bit down now. What's the average age of the persons that are staying there?
19 and over.
19 and over, and you're in at 18, so they made an exception. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how many members of your family presently are dealing with a homeless issue?
I don't know. Can't count them all.
Can't count them all. Too many to count, eh? Okay.
Too many friends that are homeless.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I really appreciate that. We're going to get this up on YouTube, and we're going to see if we can get you that shelter built back up.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. My name's Walter.
My name is Cliff.
And this is Cliff. Cliff and I were just inside a shelter in Vancouver, and we were talking about what it's going to take to create more beds, more jobs, and how people get what was the word we used? The label of being homelessness, and how quick it can happen, and you get the stigma. So I'll let Cliff talk a little bit about that.
Well, I myself have been homeless, and I know all the luggage that goes along with being homeless. You got people looking down on you constantly because you have no place to rest your head, and usually when you're in that position, you're leading a disposable lifestyle. Nothing matters but getting a bed to sleep on, getting food to eat. Those are your priorities. Your priorities change when you're homeless. You don't think about gathering wealth or anything. You think about where you're going to get your next meal, where you're going to lay your head. These things are, really important to everybody, and some people, they overlook that and take it, for granted. Whereas when you're homeless, you look at, you live every moment from moment to moment. You don't look ahead, and that's very important because people's priorities change when they're homeless. I myself have gotten out of it, but it was through perseverance, lots of hard work, lots of self-searching, soul-searching. Lots of these other people aren't so lucky because most of them are. There's a majority of them are mentally. There's mental illness issues. There's drug issues. A lot of these people in here are addicted to drugs, meth, crack cocaine, heroin. You name it. Some people even drink Listerine and that, just to forget that they're homeless. And whenever they come into the shelter, they're very, they have a place. It's their home. It's their home. And when they leave here, when they leave these doors, people look down on them, and people don't see them. They don't see them. And I myself have experienced this. Going down the street, I just asking someone for the time, but because of the clothes I was wearing, they weren't, they were a little dirty or whatever. They didn't give me the time of day. And the more I went down and asked more people what time it is, the angrier I got because nobody wanted to give me the time or the time of day. They just, sloughed me off as being a vagrant, not a productive member to society. But that's one of the stigmas that goes along with being homeless. All people need is a chance, a chance to prove themselves. This cost of housing around here has skyrocketed since the Olympics came here, and that's, how are we going to afford to house our homeless if the prices are so high and the welfare has not gone up in like 10 years or so? That's the cost of living. It's killing everybody here. All the people that are the clients. My heart goes out to them, but because I too was homeless, and I figure that they're shutting down at the end of the month, and I feel that they're doing this because now the spotlight is not on us, because we were hosting the Olympics. Now the Olympics are gone. Now the eyes of the world are not on us. So now they can treat us the way they want. Okay, come the end of the month, out you go. What are we going to do with you? Who cares, But we don't have to deal with you anymore because the eyes of the world are no longer on us.
And that's 100 people now. You were saying you have roughly 8 women that stay here, and some of them are going to be forced back into harm's way because they're going to have to go back with ex-husbands. What percentage of the people that come to your shelter medicate because of early childhood abuse?
I would have to say about 85 to 90% of them.
Okay.
95%. Yes, we're all broken in some way, and we need to mend. And I think this is where we start mending, is taking control of our lives and addressing the problems.
And I got another question for you too. Now, when we were at the tent city, we heard about the residential school. I'm fairly familiar with the residential school now. That closed down in the 50s, and some person, a yuppie, just told me the other day, well, that closed down in the 50s. How can that be a factor now? What about generational cycle abuse that continues from one generation to the next? How common is that?
Well, you know what? It's very common, because I did not go to residential school, but my two brothers did, and I got the backlash to that. They got abused and sexually abused. So when they came back for summers. They were just angry, and I would get beatings all the time. I would get the backlash, the fallout from the residential school, because all you have is abused natives, and they don't know how to get that out of their system. So the only way they know how is through violence, through alcohol or whatever, so they forget about the traumatic experience that they had going to that residential school.